This show is part of the HeadStuff podcast network.
Hello, how are you getting on? And welcome to the new podcast, Listen, I'm Delicious. We're going to have a great crack here. This is the first episode. Make sure that you tell your friends about it, get it in their ears, get it into their brain. It's great stuff for them. So the podcast, we're going to have people on. Every week, we're going to have the hugest, biggest names, the best guests, the greatest guests of all time. They're going to tell us their favourite food. So we're going to ask them every week for their favourite drink, their favourite snack, and their favourite meal. We're going to talk to them a bit about why they like those things. Maybe they've got some lovely memories attached to them or something like that. And yeah, it's going to be great. I'm also going to eat, which I'll enjoy, so you can't beat that. We've got a fabulous guest today, Michael Fry. He's going to come in and share his culinary delights with us. This week, we're going to delve into a topic I'm very passionate about in the podcast. I'm not going to spoil it, but we're going to talk about breakfast food. Michael Fry's meal item is a breakfast item. And he kind of changed things up for me a bit. I'd be a very simple man when it comes to a breakfast. But he came in with something awful exotic to me. And I have to admit, I have been converted to a city breakfast. But breakfast food, I have a couple of interesting facts about breakfast food. I know they're sort of right, but I haven't researched them. So you might Google it and find out that I was like 60% of the way there. I'm just telling you, it's not really a fact. But what I found out watching a documentary 2 years ago that's come back into my head is apparently breakfast food is basically all propaganda. We were all lied to about it. The reason that we eat eggs for breakfast is because in America in the 50s or something, people weren't eating eggs, probably before the 50s. People just weren't that into eggs. So they decided to put up like loads of billboards and stuff telling people, oh, you should be eating eggs for breakfast. They were basically just trying to pawn off all the stuff they couldn't sell people for dinner. And that is now what we consider breakfast food. So they're playing absolute mind games with us. The other thing about breakfast food that I found out is that some people will know this, but cornflakes were originally invented to stop people from masturbating. They thought that if they got somebody up in the morning and got them into a good bowl of cornflakes, that had stopped them having a go at themselves. So I don't know if it's working. I think there's probably a bit of crossover between people who eat cornflakes and people who play with themselves, if I were to guess, but I could be wrong. So there you go. There's two breakfast facts. Again, as I'm saying, they're not 100% on the nose. They're sort of a vague memory I have. So do research them before you spread them around. But they are sort of correct. So my favourite breakfast item of all time, I have to say, is the humble breakfast roll. I don't know if they have this in every country, but in Ireland, most shops have a hot food deli. And basically you go in, they've a load of rolls and then they've a load of sandwich stuff. But in the morning, if you're in nice and early, you can get a crack at a breakfast roll, which is where they've loads of sausages out, loads of eggs, hash browns, rashers, not American bacon, proper full-on back rashers. They've everything you want in there, and then you basically select all of the items you want. They put it on a roll, bit of ketchup, bit of butter. It's absolutely lovely. Now, if you're coming to Ireland for the first time and you want to have a breakfast roll, again, I don't know if they do them in other countries. One thing I will tell you is timing is key. You cannot be sauntering in to some shop to get a breakfast roll at 12:30. There may be items there, but they've been there for hours. They're dried to shit. If you want a breakfast roll, you need to plan it the day before. You need to be up at 7:30 in the morning. You need to find the good deli. Get in. You want to get, if you see a load of fellas wearing high-vis jackets and Snickers, you're in at the right time. That's the high-quality breakfast stuff. So get in, get yourself a breakfast roll. I'll tell you what I like on mine. I'm just going to share it with you. I like pretty much everything. I like sausages, hash browns. That's a bit of a contentious one, carbs on carbs, but I think it adds something textural to the equation. Bit of crunch, doesn't hurt either. I don't like rashers that much. If they're going to put rashers on it, the reason I don't get rashers is because I have too much social awkwardness to ask them to cut the fat off. I always feel like I'm bossing them around the place. I don't like going in and going, yeah, cut the fat off that, cut the roll in half. I'll just take it as it is. I just like to ask for what I want. I don't like barking orders at people. So I'll generally avoid the rasher. That's a very millennial problem to have, but it is a problem. If I know the deli worker, if we've a bit of rapport, I might say, do you know what? Would you throw a rasher on that, and would you mind cutting the fat off, because I hate fat. Only with rapport though, that requires trust. So I'd have that. And now some people get a black pudding and a white pudding on it. Some people don't like pudding at all because it's disgusting. I know Americans don't call this pudding. I think you call it blood sausage. It's basically made out of pig's blood. Fairly barbaric, but eating any part of the animal is weird when you think about it, so I think it's fine. Now, some people get a black pudding and a white pudding. I don't know what the difference is between them. All I know is I prefer the black one. So I'll get 2 black puddings, and if the deli worker knows their craft, what they'll do is they won't cut up the black pudding. They'll sort of sprinkle it on. They'll sort of pull it apart and sprinkle it on, disperse it throughout the roll. That's the way you want to have it. I'll have an egg on it, and to be honest with you, I'll have 2 eggs if I can get them. And there's a very famous song in Ireland called the Jumbo Breakfast Roll by Pat Short. So if you're ever confused about what you should get on your roll, the lyrics in that song will remind you: 2 eggs, 2 sausage, 2 rasher, 2 bacon, I forgot it. 2 eggs, 2 sausage, 2 rasher, 2 bacon, 2 pudding, 1 black, 1 white. There you go. There it is. So you can always remember that, although I get 2 black puddings. So that's my breakfast roll rant. Hopefully that's helped somebody out there who needs it. The other thing I want to tell you about breakfast items is, so I have a fear of McMuffins. I have 3 recurrent dreams. And the 2 I haven't talked about yet is I have one about McMuffins. And this is probably like some sort of mental illness, but I'm just going to tell you the truth. I've one about McMuffins, and I have one about helicopters. I might tell that some other time, the one about helicopters. But the one about McMuffins is, when I was a kid, I watched some alien film. I can't remember what it was, but I fell asleep that night and I had a dream that I got abducted by aliens. And the aliens, anyway, they abducted me. Like, you know how dreams don't really make any sense. So like, they abducted me, but like the minute they abducted me, it kind of fast forwarded, and then I knew the aliens really well. And we were like, they weren't nice to me, but like we kind of understood it. We had an understanding. And so the aliens, anyway, what they did was they had one of them machines that you always see in sci-fi programs that sort of materializes food. So they press a button on it, and then here out comes the food. But I think their machine was broken, so all that it made was McMuffins from McDonald's, and I had to eat them every day. At this point, obviously, fast forwarded in the dream, I'd been eating them probably for 10 years at this stage. So I can't eat a McMuffin now. I've had one once, but I can't eat them now because I associate them with being abducted by aliens, which is unpleasant. So. So I'm afraid of McMuffins. And then I think that was pretty much all I wanted to say about breakfast items before we get into this micro. Oh, I did want to actually, on the subject of sandwiches, while we're on it, we're going to move away from breakfast items now onto sandwiches. Sandwiches are my favorite food. I've said this before, but somebody asked me on Instagram the other day what my ranking for the meals of the day were. So like, we're talking breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. Right? Some people will put supper in there. I don't really consider supper a meal. I'm going to change it up to breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, sandwiches. I think that's a better ranking system, because I think sandwiches sort of exist. They exist in their own sort of world. Like sometimes a sandwich is like an event. It's not really a meal. So like if somebody dies, you'd have sandwiches. If you get home from the bog, you'd have sandwiches. So they do their own thing. So just to let everybody know, my ranking of meals of the day would go breakfast, because you can have a sandwich for breakfast, but you can also have something else. Sandwiches. Then probably lunch. Again, sandwiches are involved. And then probably snacks, because snacks are just so versatile. And finally dinner. So actually dinner last. And now I love dinners. Don't get me wrong. I love dinners. But they just can't hold up to the other 4. So there you go. Let me know if you can comment on this video. Maybe you're watching it on YouTube. Let me know what your ranking is. And also, maybe if you're listening on Spotify and you can't leave a comment, just think whatever order you want them in. You could do that. It might be fun for you. Anyway, on to my guest today. We have the glorious comedian Michael Fry. He's known for his skits across the land, but what does he like to eat? What's his favourite snack? His favourite snack is a contentious one, I'm going to be honest with you. He kind of pissed me off a bit, but we're still getting on. But, you know, it was dicey there for a minute. Michael Fry, everybody. It's going to be a good one. Hello, how are you getting on? Welcome to Listen, I'm Delicious. This is my brand new podcast. I'm here with Michael Fry.
Hello.
Now, I have had some criticism. This is the first episode, so you're very welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on your maiden voyage. I'm really excited.
Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah.
I have had some criticism that too many people have a podcast. So we are going to call this an audio entertainment experience. So welcome to the first episode of the audio entertainment experience.
Thank you very much. It's good. It's kind of like you've put details in here. You've got set dressing.
Absolutely.
This is way more exciting than a lot of podcasts.
Are you enjoying the set?
I love it. I really, really I love the lamp. I feel like that particular shade of wood as well is so typical of Irish homes.
It's fabulous. People who are listening can't see, but we're in sort of your grandmother's sitting room, your grandmother's kitchen type vibe. They've created it here in the studio. It's very authentic. We've a fabulous floral tablecloth here. We have some lovely biscuits.
Yeah.
We have, as you were pointing out, you were enjoying our background. What would you call this? Is that a CD rack?
I think so, yeah.
And
like a record rack, I guess. It's probably older than that.
Brown shade. We have a matching curtain, a lovely lamp. It's absolutely gorgeous in here.
I think we had those curtains actually at home years ago. So very authentic.
So you feel very at home.
I feel really at home. I feel 7 years old again.
All right, well, that's excellent. That's exactly what we were trying to do. So the main thing we want to talk about on this podcast is food. But just for people who may not know a bit about you, you're a comedian, content creator, media mogul. You're in a boy band called Direction. You've got it all going on.
Yeah.
So
media mogul's great. I love that.
Let us let us know a little bit about what you do in your media mogul career.
Yeah. So I'm a comedian. It's taken me a long time to say the word comedian as well. I think when you start on the internet, you're kind of like, oh, I'm a content creator or whatever. But no, I make comedy. I do live comedy.
Yeah.
I'm mostly on the internet. I make sketches. I do impressions of people who are not even people who are famous. I do sketches.
Yes.
I do character comedy mainly. And then I have a sketch show on BBC Sounds. And that's audio sketches. And I don't know why I'm finding it so hard to explain
what I am.
People ask you what you do and you're like,
when people ask me what I do, I say, well, I make TikToks about spice bags.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
It's not exactly a career, but it is what I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah.
You have actually broadened out into more respectable media. You do impressions, things that take skill.
Yeah.
This is and I'm getting into comedy myself.
Yeah.
So I started off the same as you doing content creation, and now I'm sort of moving into doing a bit of live comedy. Do you have any advice for me to make that transition?
Just go and do it. I don't think there's any. I think you just need to do it, and it's all trial and error.
Yeah.
And if it goes badly, it's not the end of the world. I feel like live embarrassment is temporary, and online embarrassment is forever.
That's very true. But I do find one of the things I don't like about a live audience is I can't pause them and think of the next funny thing I'm going to say.
That's very true. I'm very bad off the cuff as well.
It's much more difficult. Much more difficult.
Yeah.
So. One thing I will ask you before you go on, do you eat? Some people won't eat before they do a live performance. Do you eat before you do a live performance? Or?
No, I actually don't. And I don't drink either. So I am very, very keen to just not get into the habit of drinking alcohol beforehand or whatever. I think you just need to raw dog it and feel the fear, do it anyway.
Especially considering the fact that you get an awful lot of the time at these things, you get free drinks things. And if you're doing 5 gigs in a row, it can get dicey if you're getting the free drinks.
No, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, how are you getting on?
Yeah. I just wouldn't remember everything. I know it would drastically alter my performance.
Yeah.
If I didn't.
Possibly for the better. Who knows? I'm not encouraging it, but who knows?
Yeah. Well, maybe. I don't know. I've heard that as well from some people who's like, oh, you loosen up. But I'm like, it feels like an exam to me. And you wouldn't sit an exam on a few cans.
That's
that kind of thing. So
that's very true. Okay. So no snacks before you go on. I'm the same. I feel a bit sick if I eat before I go on stage.
Yeah.
But I still want to know, even though you may not have it before you go on stage, what sort of snack would you have? What's your favourite snack? I believe you may have.
I have a bag of snacks.
Right.
Here.
Okay. Let's see what you've got then.
My favourite snack is crisps, right?
Okay.
But specifically corn snacks and specifically bacon fries.
Bacon fries.
Or the Tesco brand based like bacon rashers, whatever the shop bought brand is.
Affordable Tesco bacon rashers. Excellent. Not sponsored.
Not sponsored at all, no.
So bacon rashers, I like the taste of them going in, but I have an issue with them, which is that they stick around in my general digestive area for, I feel like, weeks after I've consumed them.
That's interesting.
So I'll be burping 3 hours later and I'm still tasting the full force of the bacon rasher.
Yeah, so
that's
they last.
my only issue. They do last, yeah. They're an investment.
Yeah.
Okay, good choice, good, nice taste. I sort of, that's the only thing I have a problem. What else have you got? Have you got other snacks?
I just have that for snacks.
That's just for snacks,
that's
okay.
Just for snacks.
So the bacon rasher is your top. This is the creme de la creme for you.
I think so, yeah. I'm a big crisp guy. I haven't got a sweet tooth at all. So I'm not a chocolate person. When there's cake in offices, right? So say when it's someone's birthday or whatever, there's going away, people are always like, do you want a slice of cake? And I'm like, no. And that causes friction, or it has caused friction in my previous jobs. People think you're some kind of a psycho, but it just doesn't do it for me. I'm kind of like,
And if you were forced to eat a chocolate bar, what one would you have?
A curly whirly, I would say.
Curly whirly?
Love a curly whirly, yeah.
That is a very interesting choice. I don't think I'd expect that at all from anyone.
It's the first
what is it about the
of.
curly whirly that appeals to you?
It's the chewiness. It's like it's got something going on. Like I don't like plain chocolate bars. Like I will eat them, right? Yeah. I'm not disgusted by them. I will have them, but it's not the first thing I'd reach for if I was to enjoy myself. You know?
Right.
I find timeouts and Kit Kats really boring. I don't understand why anyone would eat those. You know? I would like a crunchy. I would like a curly whirly. Minstrels, if they're going, are great.
Minstrels are great, yeah, especially in the cinema.
Or a Cadbury's fruit and nut.
Cadbury's fruit and nut's rock solid, yeah.
I love
totally
that,
agree with that. And I'm noticing a bit of a pattern here. So you've got the bacon fries that stick around in your digestive system, and you've got the curly whirlies which take forever to chew. So you're really you like time. You like a snack to spend a bit of time with you.
Yeah, I want and I will eat that whole bag myself as well. It's like volume eating. It's kind of like, I don't know. I want value out of it. I want to stuff myself. You know.
Listen. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we're to pair this up with a beverage, what's the favourite beverage?
Now, I had a good think about this, and initially I was kind of like, will I get Lilt? Will I get Sprite? But there is a thing that I always get if I am, say, away at a hotel or something like that. I will go into the local supermarket or whatever, and I will get their own brand flavoured sparkling water.
Flavoured sparkling water. You've got the white grape and blackberry here.
Yeah.
You're a big fan of Tesco's work.
I guess I am.
Not sponsored.
Now, like the Aldi equivalent is pretty good as well.
Grape and black. I used to get this, and when they came out, because I remember they were like 40 cents.
Yeah, they're very cheap as well, which is what I love.
And I used to buy, I used to go in and buy this exact flavour. I used to buy all the bottles that I could buy and bring them home and put them in the fridge.
They're so solid.
It is excellent.
Yeah.
It is an excellent drink. I also like the elderflower one.
I don't think they do that anymore.
Is that gone?
I think that's gone, yeah.
I always felt I had a touch of class when I was drinking that.
Same, yeah. A little bit of elderflower, yeah.
Right, okay. No, it's an interesting choice. And what's the combination here? So obviously, we're in a bit of a cost of living crisis. This seems like a relatively affordable night out.
I guess it is.
So what are we comboing here? How much is a packet of bacon fries going for these days?
It's probably like €1, I would say.
So these are about €1. Are these about €1 now too?
Probably.
I'd imagine they're €2.
Yeah.
Don't say you can't have a good night out.
Exactly.
€2 bacon fries.
Yeah. And I'll lie in bed and eat the whole lot of them. Yeah. That's
absolutely dead right. Okay. Yeah. Now, one question I do want to ask you.
Yeah.
Now that I'm kind of putting you on the spot here. Are you a cup of tea man?
I am a cup of tea man, yes.
Okay, you love a cup of tea.
Yeah.
You don't have a sweet tooth, so would you be partial to a biscuit with a cup of tea?
I would.
Right.
I would go for a fig roll.
A fig roll? You are you're an enigma.
Yeah. What I like to do is
a fig roll.
Yeah. I will bite the kind of edges off and then have the figs on their own as well. And if you drink tea through the figs, it's actually really, really nice.
Okay.
Or I will go for a what do they call the oat ones? A hobnob.
A hobnob, yeah.
They're great.
Okay, right. A fig roll with a cup of tea. I've never seen it done, I have to be
honest.
Never? Everybody's a chocolate digestiver. I get what you're saying with the hobnob. That's great. Chocolate hobnob or regular?
Regular.
I thought you might say that because you don't have the sweet tooth.
Yeah.
You see, I prefer a digestive, and I'll tell you why.
I love a digestive. But only the plain ones, not rich tea, the other ones.
Yeah, rich tea's atrocious. I wouldn't eat them if I was paid to eat them.
Yeah.
The only reason I prefer a regular digestive to a hobnob, right, is because it leaves a layer of silt in the tea. Do you not find that?
I do quite like that. Yeah,
you like the crustaceans that evolve on the bottom of
the
bottom,
cup. Yeah, it's a nice little treat when you're finished a cup of tea.
I find it hard to parse as I get to the last sip. It feels a bit,
I don't know,
fibrous.
I'm all about the kind of the experience afterwards as well. So with that, you repeat those. It takes you a while to eat them.
Yes,
and then with the digestive, you can have a second go at it.
Like
cows,
you
the way
really
cows
like things repeating on you, don't you? Do you get heartburn and get a bit excited about it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Because there it is again.
Yes. Yeah.
Listen, extra choice. I think the digestive has been unfairly maligned as a boring biscuit when I think it's one of the most flavorful biscuits out there.
I think it's solid. Yeah.
I think a lot of people only like things the more complicated. They want an elite or something. They want something decadent.
Yeah.
Sometimes a digestive is all you need. Do you put a bit of butter on it ever?
No.
Have you had butter on a digestive?
No, it feels like a hat in a hat, though. It feels like like a chocolate Kimberley, where it's like Kimberleys are great on their own. You don't need chocolate on them. I don't know why we're adding things.
Yeah. I'm telling you, put a little bit of butter on a digestive. Try it out. Come back to me on it. I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Now, the UK recently voted the 3 worst biscuits, right? And the ones they went for were pink wafers. Have you ever had them?
Yeah, I think they're rotten. That's fair.
I quite like them, but I can see why people don't like them.
Yeah.
You're going to be sad about this one.
Yeah.
Fig rolls.
How?
Fig rolls were pretty much the most unpopular biscuit.
A sick people, the people of the UK.
I would argue they're not a biscuit, they're more of a baked confection. They're kind of in that grey area that a Jaffa cake lives in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I forgot what the other one was. I think it might have been Garibaldi's. Is that what they're called? You know the ones with the little chewy bits of raisin in them?
Yeah, I don't think
little
I've had
fruit
them.
ones. Yeah.
Oh, I don't mind them actually. They're nice. I like a good raisin.
Yeah. So I won't ask you for 3 because I know you don't have a sweet tooth, so you might not explore the world of biscuits too vividly.
Yeah.
What would be your worst biscuit?
Worst biscuit? I did something probably chocolatey that got stuck on your fingers, or
maybe perhaps a chocolate hobnob.
Probably that actually,
or an elite. How do you feel about marshmallow? Not a fan.
I don't love it. Wagon wheels, I don't love.
Oh, wagon wheels are exceptional.
Yeah.
Wagon wheels.
I'm sorry, Karen.
Wagon wheels are an exceptional product. They're based on the s'more.
I think anything with dark chocolate. I think dark chocolate's horrible.
Not a fan of dark chocolate?
No,
I feel very classy when I eat dark chocolate. I feel like I'm being healthy.
Yeah.
Like when I eat dark chocolate, I'm like, oh, Garen, you're making a good decision for your adult body.
But it's not chocolate, though. It doesn't feel like proper chocolate.
Well, I think, is it not technically speaking...
More chocolate
than chocolate, which is primarily milk and sugar, with like the vibe of chocolate, and dark chocolate is actually chocolate.
It's horrible though. So
a lot of people don't like bitterness. Do you like coffee?
I love coffee. I'm a big coffee guy.
Yeah. So you do like bitterness in the coffee world, but not in the chocolate world.
Not in the chocolate world.
You're a man of many dichotomies.
Yeah. The duality of man.
The duality of man. So, now this is going to be a little bit out of date by the time you see this because we're recording it in advance. Mm-hmm. But have you been watching the Olympics? They've recently ended. Or maybe if you're watching this, they've not so recently ended.
Yeah.
Did you know that we are now second in the world per capita in Olympic gold medals?
That's incredible. That's incredible for a country of our size. It's great,
It's absolutely insane. Did you watch any of them?
I watched Kelly Harrington's fight there last night. I saw a bit of the swimming, and when we watch, I love the Olympics because it's kind of like tapas but for sports.
Yes,
because you only get little bits of things, and it's always a lot of fun. So I love watching, say, pole vault or gymnastics or stuff you'd never normally see.
Yes.
And then I love a good long race, because I'm really impressed by the commentators being able to say all of the different things about the different, they can go for hours talking about whoever it is. So I've been watching bits of it. I haven't been as invested this year because I've just been busy the last 2 weeks, but I do love when we get into it, as in like the last Olympics we had that guy who did really well in badminton. I think he did pretty well this year as well. And we were all suddenly really into badminton for the week. And I watched the skateboarding last night.
The skateboarding is incredible.
It's so good. It's and people argued when it was an Olympic sport. And it's no, if you have dressage and you have the floor exercises in gymnastics, you can have skateboarding. That makes total sense. The
skateboarding is crazy. It's the level of skill. I remember I used to play Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was obsessed with it, but I never actually watched people skateboard. Yeah. And I kind of always just assumed that a lot of the moves that you did in Tony Hawk were made up, people couldn't actually do them. But you watch them and they're skidding, they're turning the skateboard upside down and spinning around. It's absolutely insane what people are able to do.
Yeah, and they're all 14 as well.
They're all 14 years old, yeah. It's absolutely mental. If you could add
Yeah.
a sport to the Olympics,
Oh, that's a good question.
what would it be?
What would I add? Oh, I'd probably go like skydiving or like paragliding or something.
How do you win skydiving though? That could get dangerous.
Whoever
do you
gets
get to the ground the fastest?
I think that's right. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of it, but we've got to have pretty safe rules around what the actual goal is of the skydive.
Yeah, I think
Do you do tricks in your skydiving?
Yeah, I think so. I think you'd have to. I think it would. It's you either have race skydiving or you have some kind of they have a water ballet. You'd have like air ballet as well. I think I'd want to do that. It'd have to be an extreme sport. I'm not a big fan of them adding things like chess or even darts. I don't think I'm still kind of like or shooting. I'm kind of like I'm not sure about that. You know?
Yeah. Did you see the Turkish fella doing the shooting?
He's incredible.
Yeah, he looks like an assassin. Everybody else had
had
like big boxes of gear that they brought with them, and they like scopes and all this, and he just showed up and just started shooting stuff.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah, I think skydiving is a good sport. Now, speaking of sport, right? The sport of eating your favourite meal is a sport I engage in daily.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
And I asked you what your favourite meal is.
Yeah.
And I believe you've brought it to me.
I have brought it to you. So it might be a little bit cold, but it is still very good. Right?
That's fine.
So,
that's fine.
As we all know, my username is Big Dirty Fry, right?
Yes.
So I was thinking, okay, what if I brought Garen a fry? But I was like, I actually haven't had a fry in quite a while. What I do get, though, is like a breakfast sandwich of some kind,
okay.
Right? I brought you a breakfast brioche.
Okay, brioche.
So it's from this place it's from Pogue around the corner. And it's a brioche bun. And you have your halloumi, you have bacon, you have avocado, and I think you have some kind of salad leaf in there as well. And there's relish inside it.
It looks
and
absolutely incredible.
Well. Yeah.
Are we splitting this or what's happening?
I think you work away and I'll get a hot one later.
Okay,
I think.
now you
it's very messy, so I would keep that underneath you.
If you are just listening to this audio experience, then you can't see it, but I'm going to show it to the camera now. It's absolutely gorgeous. There's even a little bit of lettuce in there, which is very classy for a breakfast.
Healthy, so
we've got a relish.
Yeah.
American bacon. I actually swallow. You could actually hear me swallow there because my mouth was salivating. Okay, so this is avocado.
Avocado, yeah.
Avocado, a little bit of cheese. Okay, right. Let's go, and I'll give you my opinion of it.
Yeah,
that's fucking incredible.
Yes,
that is fucking incredible.
I'm glad you like it. Yeah, it's unreal. I'm in there a lot, and it's just a solid.
That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
The avocado adds a lot.
It does. It's got an interesting kind of combination. You have your halloumi for that little bit of extra kind of texture. You bacon for your crunch. And I don't know if you ever watched The Bear.
Yeah, there's the bit of crunch in the bacon, the bit of smokiness coming through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The egg is beautifully cooked.
Yeah.
That's incredible. A little bit of sweetness from the brioche. Cheeky little bit of sweetness from the relish as well. Relish, I feel, is very underrated.
I agree. A
lot of restaurants are just putting red sauce on a breakfast roll, and I think you need to be hitting it with some relish.
Oh, you need the relish.
It upgrades it massively.
Yeah.
This is absolutely incredible. So, what I'm going to do going forward, there's a huge prize available for all the podcast guests.
Yes.
I'm going to show it off shortly.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, I think this is a top tier food.
I think
it's got everything. There's flavors, there's crunch, there's a bit of sweetness.
Yeah.
A portable food, which matters as well. You can have it on the go.
Yeah.
This is going right up at the top tier now. I think it's going to be hard for somebody to compete with this.
I agree.
This is general. I will get this. I'm going to get one of these. In a few days, I'm going to be in the mood for this.
Yeah.
Tremendously impressed. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Thanks for introducing me to putting avocado on a breakfast roll. I feel so cultured.
Yeah, it's a breakfast roll, but it's been yassified.
Yeah.
I
feel like when I took my first bite of this, I was like, I'm in Dublin now, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't get this kind of stuff in Mayo.
It's got a bit of green on it. It's breakfast roll having its brat summer. It's incredible.
Absolutely insane. Yeah. Thank you very much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you very
much for this. Hopefully you've enjoyed your time in my country home.
My stay, yeah, I feel great. I feel like I was back at home and my granny was here,
Absolutely. Now, I don't know when anybody's going to see this, but where can people find you? You might have gigs coming up, but we may be past them by the time somebody sees the podcast.
Yeah.
So what's your socials and all that sort of stuff?
You can find me at Big Dirty Fry on all platforms. And then if you want to hear some of my comedy in audio form, I have a podcast on BBC Sounds called Lunchtime with Michael Fry. We're going to write season 2 soon, but all of season 1 is available to binge wherever you get your podcasts.
Thank you very much. Stay delicious.
This show is part of the HeadStuff Podcast Network, a hub for the creative and the curious. Shows are produced in association with HeadStuff and the Podcast Studios Dublin. Find out more or become a member at headstuffpodcasts.com.